Dealing with breakouts, probably one of the first things people do is start thinking about what am I going to wash my face with, and this is where I really want to go over all of the ingredients that you're going to find in over-the-counter cleansers just so you can choose the right one for you. My name is Dr. Erin Milius. I'm a board-certified dermatologist. I've been in practice for almost 20 years, raised 3 children, so I can tell you a lot of insight what is best for you and how to kind of navigate all of your product choices out there. So subscribe now, follow along, and learn more about all of the ingredients out there. So before you start evaluating acne cleansers, it's important to really sit down and look at which are the active ingredients that you'll find in your cleansers. You're going to come across salicylic acid, benzoyl peroxide, sulfur is another common ingredient that you'll see, as well as charcoal is increasingly being seen in a lot of products. Now, what does each of these ingredients even do, and which one is right for you? So think of it first as salicylic acid is one of your first ingredients you're going to see in a lot of your starter cleansers. Salicylic acid really works by just breaking apart your skin cells, trying to make it so that they don't clog your pores as easily, and it just helps remove some of those dead skin cells from building up on the surface of your skin. Ultimately, that's what's getting stuck inside of your pores along with oil, dirt, and sebum. So we want to make sure that those pores are clear, because think of it as acne comes in stages. It starts off as clogged pores as a result of excess oil, sebum, and dead skin cells accumulating in those pores. That sits there long enough, and then if it sits there long enough, we do have a bacteria inside of our pores called Cutibacterium acnes that can inflame those pores, and that's when you start to get those red or more inflamed pimples. So if we can head it off at the beginning and stop those pores from getting clogged in the first place, you really can see a lot of benefits from doing so. So ingredient number 2, benzoyl peroxide. Benzoyl peroxide is a little bit stronger, maybe a little more effective than salicylic acid, and has one other thing that it has going for it. So yes, it does clear away dead skin cells from the skin, but it also has the ability to kill acne-causing bacteria, which is helpful. So if you can actually think of it as not only are you getting rid of that buildup of skin cells on your skin, that bacteria that's living inside of your pores, if we can start to work at trying to reduce its ability to actually act on that excess oil, dirt, and sebum, maybe you can also ward off that next inflammatory stage of acne. Now, the challenges you're going to face with benzoyl peroxide are basically that it can be a little bit more drying, a little bit more irritating to the skin. It can bleach your pillowcases and even the collars of your shirt, so it can be a little challenging to use, but it's something that if you just think it through, use white pillowcases or pillowcases you don't care about, choose a white t-shirt or a t-shirt you don't care about to go to bed in, then hopefully it'll be less of a problem for you in terms of just managing that overall impact on your clothing and textiles around you. Sulfur. Now, sulfur is one of my favorite acne ingredients only because many people with acne have an overlap with another condition called seborrhea, which is essentially this excess oil that builds up with flaking along the nose, the eyebrows, the forehead, along the hairline, and it can be pretty inflamed as well. And I find that sulfur can actually address both the acne as well as the seborrhea component to it, as well as that overlap as with rosacea and increased sensitivity of the skin that lends to facial breakouts. I love sulfur as an ingredient. I don't see it on a lot of products. We do have it as a prescription cleanser, but it is increasingly being seen in some acne cleansers and acne face masks. It is a good ingredient. However, it's definitely a niche ingredient that not everyone can tolerate, but it gives you the whole spectrum of benefits. Not only does it help acne with regards to the excess keratin or buildup of dead skin cells on your skin, it actually addresses oil, it actually addresses bacteria, and it also addresses inflammation. So that is your full spectrum ingredient that's worth considering if you can tolerate it and you're not allergic to it. And the other ingredient you're going to see a lot of that I see popping up in cleansers all over the place, but remember when you turn the ingredient label around, you're going to see it's not an active ingredient, it's just listed as one of the other ingredients in the product, is charcoal. So charcoal, there's not a lot of medical studies that actually support its use with acne. It's thought to work by basically absorbing excess oil and impurities from the skin, theoretically. Sure, activated charcoal is used in the medical setting when somebody needs to detox from some sort of poisoning event, for example. But we don't, that's not how it works when it comes to acne cleansers, or there's an assumption that there must be some overlap in terms of that benefit. But again, we don't have a lot of data to support it, but it's not irritating to the skin for most people. It's probably a mild product that some people really do find that they benefit from. So I think it's reasonable to use, again, if you can tolerate it, but I wouldn't say it's a workhorse of a product. It's just one other ingredient that you can consider, or maybe even choosing it in the form of like a face mask or something like that, and not necessarily a daily cleanser, just so that you can really focus in your efforts on active ingredients that do work for acne when you need them routinely. Now that you're old enough to kind of go beyond that step of using just regular over-the-counter gentle cleansers for your skin, for skin maintenance, and you're starting to think about acne cleansers in particular designed to address breakouts, it's never a bad idea to talk to your dermatologist first, to just be set up for success, to choose the right products and avoid wasting too much money on products that may not work for you. So when I think about acne cleansers and when to start using which one, the two main ingredients out there that you're going to find the most consistently when you go to drugstore aisles are salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide. So think of salicylic acid as a little bit milder. It's going to be a great entry-level product. You say your skin is sensitive, but you do need some benefits from an anti-acne cleanser, and you don't want to be too harsh or irritating on your skin. It's a great starting point. If you are dealing with acne early in life, or just some clogged pores, or you're just making that transition from a basic cleanser to an acne cleanser, it's a great transition into that category of products because it doesn't tend to be as irritating as most ingredients. The next level up to me would be the benzoyl peroxide. Over the years of seeing patients, there's benefits to the benzoyl peroxide, but also some challenges that we always have to balance out. So yes, benzoyl peroxide has a range of concentrations that you're going to come across. Salicylic acid, on the other hand, is really usually a 2%, sometimes a 1% concentration, whereas benzoyl peroxide will be the full spectrum up to 10%. So it's reasonable to start looking through that active ingredient label part to see which ingredient is there, benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid, and then the concentration of it as well, so you can work your way through concentrations, progressively getting stronger if you need to. In terms of my go-to products to recommend to families, because I know that when you're at this stage, going through those stores and their aisles and trying to figure out which ingredients to choose is really hard, and there's tons of products out there. My staple go-tos that have just worked over the past couple of decades and have been around for 20 years, so I always trust long safety and effectiveness track records, would be Neutrogena's Oil-Free Acne Wash, which is the orange one. I often reference it as the orange one to my patients because it's really easily identifiable. It's a great starter product. So you're entering middle school and you feel like I need something to really start to go beyond a basic cleanser. This is when you give your kids the Oil-Free Acne Wash, because you find that that one is really effective to not over dry their skin and give them a sense of how their skin reacts to it and responds to it. They tolerate it pretty well, but still need some more assistance after a few months, then maybe it's worth considering going to your dermatologist and talking about next steps, or even if it's still not too severe and still pretty manageable, maybe considering moving on to the benzoyl peroxide afterwards. For benzoyl peroxide products, my go-to staple product that I've often recommended would be Panoxyl. Panoxyl's been around for a long time. It generally has a 10% concentration of benzoyl peroxide. Yes, that's on the higher side. However, again, when I'm talking about these products to my patients, I'm usually thinking of them as sequentially used. So somebody's probably already used the salicylic acid, tolerated it pretty well, but needs something stronger. So then I often go on to the Panoxyl after that.